Okay. Good evening, listeners. This is Metropolitan Scholarius welcoming you to Part 3 of the Domestic Worship Communities Network radio program sponsored by Theology on the Air. And this evening we have an extra special guest with us that will be regaling us with some ideas and some experiential insights of how the domestic community worship is working in the great city of Tallahassee, Florida. And with us we have from Tallahassee, we have Bishop Anthony. From Toledo, Ohio, we have Mar Dawa. And Washington, D.C., we have Bishop Cyril Mark. And I am Metropolitan Scholarius, and I hail from the beautiful state of Northern California. And this evening, we're going to give you a little insight as to what takes place during a typical domestic worship community circle. And so, this evening, I would like to begin by introducing Bishop Webster of Tallahassee. And welcome, Bishop Webster.
Hi, good evening, and I appreciate y'all having me this evening, and it's a blessing to be with you. And we come from the warm and stormy city of Tallahassee, Florida, but we bring you good climatic news. We have just launched our program here in Tallahassee, and I think it fosters a good example of purposeful family gatherings and opportunities for neighbors to visit, but at the same time to take advantage of that and create a foundation for which a network of common beliefs among Christians, but at the same time to begin to go backwards to learn more about how to go forward on this journey, this faith journey that we all so solidly believe in. We have found it as an opportunity to launch a domestic worship community, and we have some excitement down here, and I find it an excellent opportunity to share some of the lessons learned and the inspiration of the group of believers that have come together. And it has been, with the help of our Savior, a wonderful introduction to what we believe to be the beginning of something much greater. A lot of lessons learned, but it is a fire is in place here, and it's a fire that is burning and will without consuming. So let me just share with you all, again, as I shared with several of the bishops, we thank you for your support. One of the things about a domestic worship community is that it reinforces the know that there are others. And when we alluded to the fact that there would be others that we could interact with, and that was excitement in itself. So it's strongly recommended that be a part of every launching, and that at the most opportunistic times that there will be some interaction external to that particular worship community. The good things that we've found out is that people are interested. There's a hunger right now to know more about our Savior and the church. So the ancient church, it fosters a foundation for a vast amount of discussion, and we look forward to relating to that as we get into our dialogue and discussion this evening. Thanks again. We're excited down here in Tallahassee, Florida, and we ask God's blessings on all.
Oh, thank you, Bishop Anthony. What I'd also like to ask from you, Bishop Anthony, could you tell us, if you would, please, what are some of the really good things that occurred within your domestic worship community?
Right offhand, the first thing is it brought family together. One of the interesting things about this domestic worship community is that it's not only is it a home setting, but it was a family setting and of diverse faiths as it relates to the denominations, as one would call them. But it fostered an opportunity for us to be challenged to search for the commonality in this framework of faith, as we so confess ourselves to be Christians. And this has brought about a lot of excitement here, and we're looking forward to carrying this forward into the future.
Thank you. Were there any things that you learned?
Yes. I think we all have learned that utilizing the media requires an appreciation of computer literacy and also understanding the compatibilities and not so compatible aspects of the tools. Although the tools are great, I think that one of the things in media is learning to test the system out, check it in advance, and calling on other comrades external to the community that is in discussion, and do that prior to the session itself. I think one of the greatest turnoffs in this kind of excitement can be to have complications with the tools. We were blessed. I think that we had just a small challenge in terms of audio. One of the lessons learned there is that depending upon the distance, is that one probably should have some auxiliary mics to assist, because we didn't get the opportunity to allow as much collaboration as we wanted to of each of the individuals. But we're looking forward to having that opportunity in the future, because it is part of the key to success, is to foster interaction between the community participants. The other thing is, in that regard, is making sure that we get all of our literature out and get the time right, so that the participants are in place rather than to be coming in incrementally as the dialogue goes forward, because it takes a little time to set up, and unfortunately in home settings we're not in the theater, so it just makes common sense, but these are the things that we quickly learned. And the third piece of it was that the participants come expecting a feast. So in the future we will know to prepare some finger food or something that help to foster further discussion as we fellowship.
Okay, well, thank you. One more thing I'd like to ask you. Were there any exciting things that occurred either during the course of the domestic worship community meeting or leading up to the domestic worship community meeting that you'd like to share briefly?
I would say in both settings, it's interesting that our populace were primarily Protestant, Church of God in Christ, and non-denominational, Baptists and Methodists. But we found that in that common thread, there was an interest in certain words that were used, true definition of church, which is an interesting discussion topic, and the history of the church. Secondly, the use of apostolic. We found that that term forces a lot of discussion, especially among some of the non-denominational and the Baptist congregants. But also just trying to drive everyone toward a common understanding of their faith. And we are actually going to be doing 4 or 5 sessions in that particular area. So the interest is growing, and we want to keep that fire alive.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. For our listening audience, we have a latecomer. We have Bishop John Mark from the Washington, D.C., Prince George's County area. And not to catch him unawares, but I'd like to have him do a little presentation next. And Bishop John Mark, we'd like to have you, if you could tell us a general overview of your domestic worship community area, followed by some of the good things that have happened for you.
Good evening, everyone. This is Bishop John Mark. Sorry for my tardy, but my first domestic worship meeting was very excited. And actually, one of the things that I didn't do that I should have did, I should have had everyone to stand up and went around and gave an introductory of thyself and asked them what Christian background did they have, because I found out later on that those that I thought that had no background had a Christian background, and which made it a lot easier once I understood that. And then from there we went into catechism. Once we got everything straightened out about what the domestic worship was, and that we were the teaching of the ancient Christian church, the church that we had in Acts, that they were first called in Antioch, where they first called Christians. It was excited, and then I found that the guys there, as Jesus would say, the harvest is ready. Once they started to talk and you started to see where the problems were and what they were looking for, and they were looking for what all of us were looking for at one time, and still looking, still searching, and still, although we have found the church that Jesus Christ has, they're looking for a true church. They're not looking for counterfeit churches. They're not looking for pimps in the pulpit. They're looking for the true gospel of Jesus Christ. And saying that, and then I found that God had given those my guys. It was 6 of them. They have certain gifts. I saw the one that was the leader, because he was the one that was getting everybody together. When someone was late, like I was tonight, he was calling them up and say, you know, the bishop is going to be here. You know, we're talking about this topic here. Why aren't you here? You need to be here. And it was an excitement of an excitement. They were excited. I wasn't excited. And just to see that the communities, and this is in Southeast Washington, D.C., are hungry. They're hungry. They want the truth, though. They don't want falsification. They don't want itchy ear stuff. They want to be told the truth. And they respected the part. I don't remember what the question was at this particular time, that I couldn't give them a direct answer. Actually, wasn't one at that particular time. And I just told them, I said, there's some things we just have to believe just where it is. And the only problem I have is, like, my night is tonight, which is Tuesday night, which means I have to share my time with them and miss 1-2 nights here a week. But it's exciting. They're hungry, and they want to know the truth. And they're not. They like the part of it of being in the house. They're a little bit more comfortable, and I'm trying to transition them from there eventually to the church. But understanding what we're doing, and we're not doing a prayer meeting. We're not doing. I'm not being a wildcat. I'm not doing my own thing. I'm in the midst of plenty of counseling